I got married at 18 to my high school classmate. We had been together since school days, he was my first love. I really believed it would last forever. Of course, we didn't plan to get married that early, but I got pregnant quickly, so we had a wedding and moved in with my parents. My mom helped take care of our daughter while I attended university exams. My husband, Vitalik, switched to part-time studies and started working. By the time I graduated, my parents helped us save for a down payment, and we bought a small one-bedroom apartment on a mortgage. Honestly, during all that time, only my parents were truly supporting us. They looked after their granddaughter, bought things for her, helped Vitalik get a job even though he had no experience, and supported us financially however they could. My mom was happy that I started a family, even if it was so early, and she believed that close people should always help and support each other. But my mother-in-law was the complete opposite. To start with, Vitalik was raised by his grandmother, his mother's own mother. His mom had divorced his father when he was just 2 years old and left to build a new life for herself. She got involved with a co-worker, broke up his family, and moved north with him for money, leaving her little son with his grandmother. Vitalik didn't really see his mother until he was 5. She never came to visit on holidays, preferring vacations with her new husband, sometimes in Turkey, sometimes in Egypt. She only sent gifts for birthdays and New Year, and called very rarely. Slowly, Vitalik started to forget what it felt like to have a mother. And then, after his 5th birthday, she suddenly appeared at their door. She had left her husband in the north, claiming he had started drinking and became abusive. Vitalik was so happy that his mother had come back. But just a year later, my mother-in-law found another boyfriend, moved in with him, and went to live on the other side of the city, leaving again. We were short on money for our own vacation. A month later, we were supposed to go to the sea together as a family. It was something we had planned in advance, our daughter was so excited, and I was honestly looking forward to finally resting after months of work. But because of his mother's trip, we suddenly didn't have enough saved up for our own tickets. I was furious. It wasn't just the money, it was the pattern. Every month, Vitalik was sending his mother 40 to 50,000 rubles from our business income. And I kept quiet, even though it bothered me more and more, because I saw how he looked at her approval like it was the only thing that mattered. For him, his mother was still a saint who needed lifelong support. And she knew exactly how to play that role, praising him endlessly every time he gave her money, calling him the best son in the world. Then one day, he casually mentioned that she and his younger sister were flying to Turkey for the sea. "Mom's birthday is coming up," he said. She really asked for this trip as a gift. And my husband didn't just agree, he paid for it. 130,000 rubles for the vacation. Another 50,000 for her monthly expenses. And 20,000 extra for souvenirs. In total, that month alone, his mother cost us about 200,000 rubles. I couldn't even believe it. Meanwhile, we were supposed to go on a family trip ourselves, and now there was barely anything left for us. And that was the moment I realized, this wasn't just about money anymore. He suggested we postpone our vacation because we simply didn't have enough money left for it anymore. We ended up having a huge fight. I tried to explain to him that this wasn't normal, that he has his own family now, and his mother is capable of earning her own money. We weren't supposed to be sacrificing our life and our plans just to fund her expensive trips. But Vitalik didn't hear me. In his mind, there was nothing wrong with financially supporting his mother and paying for her wants whenever she asked. Eventually, we kind of made up, but I was still hoping, naively, it turns out, that deep down he would understand his mother was being purely selfish and would stop paying for everything she demanded. I underestimated both her audacity and how far she could push him. About a month later, I discovered that 300,000 rubles had disappeared from our joint account. I called Vitalik immediately to ask why he had taken such a large amount of money. It turned out his mother had suddenly decided she needed a full apartment renovation, and she simply went to her favorite son for the money. And that 300,000 rubles wasn't even the full request. In total, she wanted 800,000 rubles right away. Of course, Vitalik didn't have that much, so he decided to give it to her in installments. That's when I snapped. I screamed at him, how could he do something like this without even discussing it with me? And that's when he told me something that changed everything. He said our flower shop was a family business, so he had every right to manage the money however he wanted. That was it. I told him to take his mother and go wherever he wanted. That business was my idea, my work, my foundation, and not a single ruble of it would go to him anymore. I packed his things and put them outside. Then I filed for divorce. Because I no longer saw any future in this marriage. I separated him from the business completely, legally, on paper, everywhere. Vitalik wasn't listed as an owner anywhere. He was nothing in it. He tried to threaten me, saying he would go to court and prove it was his business too. But I wasn't afraid. I knew he had nothing solid to stand on. So he left and moved in with his mother. He got a regular job, and his income dropped significantly. And suddenly, the perfect son turned into someone his mother could no longer rely on the way she used to. That's when it finally started to sink in for him who she really was. He moved out from her place too, cut down the money he gave her, and eventually stopped supporting her completely. Now he's trying to come back to me. He says he understands everything now and promises it will never happen again. I haven't made a decision yet. I keep him at a distance. I still have feelings for him, he was a good husband and a good father, but I'm afraid of repeating the same story. What if he slips back into it again? I'm slowly focusing more on my business instead. And his mother still occasionally messages me, asking to borrow money. I ignore her. Let her figure it out on her own. That's not my problem anymore.